Well, welcome. Thank you so much for coming this evening. It's always terrific to have the opportunity to be able to talk about the programs that we have here at St Philip's, particularly in the middle school. My name's Glenn Urain, I'm the head of middle school, if you didn't know who I was. And this evening I'm joined by Mr Peter Bucket, who's a Year 7 teacher, but also the technology portfolio leader this year. So together we're just going to be giving you a lot of information. Well, we hope it's going to be a lot of information that's really useful to you about how particularly the MacBook program works within our school and the opportunities that we've been able to provide through what's called the Be Smart program, and that you'll be able to go away from this with a bit more knowledge about exactly why we're conducting the program. We'll talk about some of the issues that come with having such a large program on offer, but also we'll get to showcase some of the work that's been performed on the MacBooks that otherwise would not be performed. The Think Smart program actually has two components. One was the introduction of one-to-one MacBook computers to each student through middle school. It started 2 years ago. It's since expanded to other year groups throughout the school, as you probably know. It has not only the MacBook component, but it also has the thinking skills component, hence the Think Smart. And that's a journey that we're still working through as far as introducing all of our students to using quality thinking skills in all of the work that they do. Now this is all about the future of our students and of course your children. We're looking forward to the future for them, what it may look like, and just being able to give them as many skills as we possibly can is going to prepare them for that. Because currently, as you can imagine, we don't even know all of the jobs that are going to be available in the next 5 years, let alone the next 10, 20 years. So our main aim is making sure that at the end of Year 12, we can honestly say we've done all we can to prepare our students for that world that they're going into. So the thinking skills component is about allowing them to be able to deal with problems that come up as they come up, rather than have a whole heap of rote learned facts and figures, which is what I was taught at school. I like the fact that we're now teaching students to be able to deal with issues, to be able to become problem solvers, and not just people with, well, either big or perhaps small memories, which is quite often what a lot of our assessment and teaching has been like in the past. So teaching has evolved through a lot of research about how we can teach our students to be ready for the future. And there's been a real catchphrase of 21st century learning. It's a little bit old now, as you know, we're in the 14th year of the 21st century. So it's a little bit old to be saying that this is new 21st century technology that we're introducing here. So it's been around for a little while, but I can gladly say from the conferences and forums I've been to over the last few years, we are really leading the way here. If I'd been to some of those conferences without the Think Smart program being in place over the last 2 years, I'd be desperately worried. Because where education is going and the expectations that are on us as teachers and educators, if we didn't have things like MacBooks or technology in our classrooms in the way that we do, we'd be miles behind. And we certainly wouldn't be preparing our students in the way that we want to prepare them for a lifelong education. First of all, I'll let you know about how the machines are used at school. Roughly, teachers have been told to use them around about a third of the time they are at school. They are not in the program. Okay? We use the MacBooks when and if they're needed, required, or best suited to a particular activity. And you'll see some of the examples of very different activities tonight than what you would have been able to perform at school yourself. And I hope that you can really see the benefit in this kind of learning, because you might not see the actual writing on paper any longer, but I'm hoping that you can see the writing on the paper in the movies, the scripts, the videos, the podcasts, and the presentation that is now done on a MacBook, as opposed to always being in books. I emphasise the fact that we're using about a third of the time. That means they're still 2/3 of the time doing whether it be verbal kind of work or written kind of work or handwritten work, and it still exists. We still do use textbooks. We still do write on a whiteboard. Sorry, it's not a chalkboard, but we do still have whiteboards as well as our smart boards in almost every classroom in the school we have smart boards now. So it's all about being able to engage our students in what they see in their outdoor life. You don't, not just outdoor, of course, I mean outside of the school life. And you only have to see it, the digital and social media that's out there. But we're not tapping into that. We're certainly not going to engage students in this generation. I'd just like to show now a testimonies video about from some of the students and some of the teachers who are just talking openly about how they feel about having the technology in the classroom now, and as opposed to how they would teach in previous years.
I think on boys' education, I think looking at how they use technology as an engaging tool is invaluable. It's fantastic to see the students in here actually connecting with their learning. I really love to see boys engaged in using iPad or PowerPoint or any of the technology to actually produce a piece of work. When normally if you gave them a book, they would just sit there and probably struggle with how to present the work that they're trying to produce.
Well, I think it really excels what you're doing, because if you don't know what you're doing, it helps you understand what your task.
Well, one of the best things about using a MacBook is it's easy to access information through the internet because you don't have to share computers.
On the MacBook you can create movies and you can create projects like websites and then podcasts and then hook up to schoolwork.
It's smart. It has been a true success. I think that it's changed the way that I teach and the way that students learn, and it's also given and will, I think, continue to give students and I skills for life that they're going to have forever, and it's increased their options for creativity and presentation in their work, and students, I find, when engaged, and they are really engaged and enthusiastic when they're challenged by all the options that smart can give them.
I love technology in the classroom. Very easy for students to use it these days, as it makes it very accessible to students that can't have a lot of instruments at home due to expense and space and just the availability. The other is that visuals help people just even see what notes they're playing. I can put up links to music and clips if I want to embed them into my website. That's useful because the students work at their own pace and they'll decide to actually jump ahead. But having resources sort of not low cost or that everyone can have their own copy, everyone can work at their own pace, and I find that's really effective.
As you can see, it's a program that's really made a difference. And my favourite thing about it is what Luke actually said on the video. And it's virtually that you've got the world on your desk. And that's something that certainly we didn't have in the past. All of the information that was imparted on students was from a teacher's head or from a book that was read out in front of them. As you can imagine, there's a world of different views out there, a world of different topics and different ways to look at it. The fact that you've got the world on your desk and it's accessible is a huge tool. We have a valuable library over there, but the fact that they've got that library and a lot more in a machine on their desk, wow, it makes the possibilities in the classroom almost endless. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the challenges of the program. And I know that some of you will be aware of some of those. And I'm just going to ask, though, that if you do have questions, we're going to have some time at the end where Pete and I will be down the front. If you'd like to individually come and talk to us, that would probably be the best way to do it, so that we avoid asking questions that might only be specific to certain students or people. And hopefully we can get your questions answered the best we can. But if at the end you want to see us, then we're more than welcome. You're more than welcome to, and we'll talk to you then. First of all, I'd like to talk you through. Now, I know that some of you've heard about this, especially those people who came to the big breakfasts recently. But we do have MacBook Care and Guidelines. Now, that is in the parent handbook. I'm not going to go through all of it there tonight, but this is something that is reflected upon with the students regularly. So if someone was to misuse their MacBook in the classroom or at home, because it is a school piece of equipment, then of course we need to follow it up as if it's happened at school. So we hold these very dear to us, and things like keeping your MacBook charged, that's a really important one. There's nothing more distracting and deflating in a classroom when students have come with 10% left on their computer. So that's the first one. We have to really keep reminding students of that. Caring for their MacBook is the second one there. I'll allow you to go through those if you're learning from the handbook. Classroom and at-home use is covered there. Recess and lunch use, generally they don't get used for recess and lunch. Battery power, but also we don't want food and other things like that going in the MacBooks. Sharing and communicating, have rules about how you're going to share information and what language you can use, all of those sorts of things. Troubleshooting, if there is an issue down here, we've got a bunch of different methods that the students can use to try and fix that issue. Of course, we have an IT department that Peter is going to tell you a little bit more about soon. We've also got rewards for positive use in the classroom and consequences for misuse. And the consequences for misuse also include a confiscation process. We do have students from time to time that will either access illegal sites or download illegal software, those kinds of things. We're liable for a lot of that. We have a duty of care as well over the students, of course. If we didn't have a strong protocol there, we would really expose ourselves and expose your child to, well, you know what's on the internet, okay? So we do have a confiscation protocol as well. Is that up there? And that's also available to you in the middle school office or on the portal if you wish to have a look at that. But generally it's done by myself or one of the leadership team in middle school if we do need to hold a MacBook. And generally we need to make depends on what the level of misuse has been, for how long we might hold it. We try not to keep it away from class because that affects the student adversely and also the teacher and the other students in the class quite significantly as well if they don't have their MacBook. So we have a sign-in, sign-out process where they hand it in, sign it out when they take it, sign it back in at the end of the day, or at recess and lunch, depending on the risk of them having it in